हाय जानीस, जिंदगी भी बड़ी अजीब है, रोज रोज नए चैलेंजेस लेकर आती है। बीइंग अ विडो एंड अ सिंगल वुमन, मैं इस चीज़ में खुशी ढूंढ लिया करती थी कि अब भी बहुत से जवान एलिजिबल मर्द, both bachelors and otherwise, viewed me as a chick. And then they had to come up with this phenomena called the bird flu. I don't know whether the bird flew or not, but all the hunters just ran away. Where you know it can be fun sometimes, being hunted, but certainly not by the CIA or FBI. वैसे हमें birds से कम खतरा है, bombs से ज़्यादा खतरा है. I mean the birds can still be fried, but bombs fry us. I'm talking about the recent blasts in Karachi. मेरे शहर को तो किसी की नज़र ही लग गई. वैसे तो बहुत अरसे से मेरे इस शहर पे नज़रें जमाए बैठे थे, लेकिन वो नज़रें फिर बर्दाश्त हो जाती हैं, ये नज़र नहीं. दिल चाहता है कि इन बदनज़रों की आंखें नोच लूं, ताकि फिर कोई मेरे शहर का अमन ख़राब करने के बारे में सोच भी ना सके. गम भुलाने को लाहौर चली गई, पर सच पूछें कुछ सोचने का मौका ही ना मिला. I was engaged in better things, you know, bats and balls. I mean, on the one hand, we had Pakistan and India playing cricket in Abu Dhabi, and on the other, we had the English League football matches happening in England. I tell you, I'm into all kinds of sports, and I have a special place for players. I was quite a player myself, but never depended on any fields. I would let myself be caught in drawing rooms. अगले तो मुझे देखकर ही आउट हो जाते थे. वैसे talking of cricket, I'm quite unhappy with Inzamam. Not for his playing tactics, but for his disappearing tactics. अब सोचे ना, वो मैच जो हमारे मुल्क के ज़लज़ला मुतासिरीन के लिए खेला गया, उसकी प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस को राहुल द्रविड़ ने हाईजैक कर लिया, because Inzamam was nowhere to be found. I wonder what Inzamam was up to. इमरान खान होता तो उसका नाम मिलना समझ भी आ जाता. वैसे खिलाड़ियों से मुझे मेरे दो पसंदीदा खिलाड़ी याद आ गए. पहले एक दूसरे के साथ खेला करते थे, अब सुना है कि साथ साथ खेलने के प्लान्स बना रहे हैं. I'm talking about my नवाज डार्लिंग एंड पिंकी. सुना है वहाँ लंदन में मीटिंग भी हो गई, और देखिए दोनों में से किसी ने मुझे पूछा तक नहीं. चलो कोई बात नहीं, जल्द जान लेंगे कि जब तक वो मुझे शामिल नहीं करेंगे, their meetings like parties. Everything will take place at a high level. There'll be much trumpeting. It'll be difficult to get to the point, and then nothing will happen for another 2 years. आज मैं बहुत अंग्रेजी बोलने के मूड में हूँ, और आप लोगों को मेरी अंग्रेजी सुननी भी पड़ेगी. आप तो जानते हैं कि मुझे गोरों की ज़बान बहुत पसंद है, and I'm not talking about English. But the reason for my English tonight is that I have a guest visiting me from London. She's charming and beautiful, और मुझे यकीन है कि वो यहाँ आकर आप सबके दिल जीत लेगी. Step right in, Boudica Swanson. Hi, gorgeous. Wow. It is so lovely to see you.
Thank you so much.
Really. Oh, Shery, it is so wonderful to see you. Thank you so much, really, for coming over. How do you like my drawing room?
Oh, I absolutely love it. I feel so at home here, and really it's an honour for me to be here with you tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, really, and I'm sure it must make such a pleasant change, you know, from that 2-bedroom villa that you've been staying at ever since you arrived in Karachi.
I've been looked after so well. I've been staying with Sheikh Arma Hassan in Sheikh Villa, and it's been just wonderful. My every need has been catered for. I've been spoilt rotten. Absolutely.
I know. Sheikh is very good at doing that, you know, spoiling people. But, you know, I'm very fond of Sheikh Ji myself. Not so much for his Sheikhis, but for the fact that he ends up inviting such lovely people to this country, really.
So many.
You know, starting with Boney M, and then Percy Savage. I mean, the list is never ending, really. How long have you known Sheikh Amir Hassan?
Well, we met in 1987 when we were at Fashion College together, at London College of Fashion. Then we actually ran away to Pakistan in our summer holidays. So I first came to Pakistan, to Lahore in '87. And then I had a wonderful time, and I met some wonderful people when I was here then, so long ago. And it's so nice to come back and see that they've all, you know, they've blossomed and they've become real celebrities in their own right. People like Rizwan Beg, you know, these wonderful characters. It was just fantastic. So anyway, it's taken me 19 years to come back. I came back last year, and I just felt so in love with Karachi, and it's just so exciting. It's really, it's like the south of France.
But how often do you come, I mean, to Pakistan?
Well, it's become an annual event, in fact, but I'm hoping it should be a bit more often in the future.
It should really, darling. And what do you come looking for here in this country? I mean, with all the propaganda that, the way the Western media projects
Yes.
Pakistan to be, and to still have the guts to travel to Pakistan, what, I mean, for most people who live in London and who've only been educated through, let's say, watching BBC and Fox News and Sky News, I mean, you coming and seeing Pakistan in reality as this glorious country is, do you think it's fair the way the media has projected Pakistan there?
Not at all. I think they've got it totally wrong. And even more strange, I actually think that British Pakistanis, of which obviously we are all Pakistanis in Britain, we all eat Pakistani food, I think that they're out of touch with the way Pakistan is now. It's changing all the time, especially somewhere like Karachi, which is so vibrant and so full of, I mean, all the new television media work that's going on, these fabulous new programs you've got. I mean, it really, really, I can't think when the change came around. It must be to do with your, you know, your president. It must be to do with your prime minister. It must be to do with these things that have really, really made a change.
Trust me, darling, it's mostly because of me. You know? And I don't want to sound boastful and tell you how I brought this change, really. But coming after 19, I mean, well, you've been coming on and off, but
Yes.
19 years ago when you came to Pakistan,
Yes.
what were your first sort of, what was your first impression of this country?
Well, I was being looked after so well that I had an impression that was probably, it was the impression that I got. You know, I was being looked after palatially. And what really impressed me were things like the gardens of Shalimar, the beautiful flowers everywhere, the fabulous food, of course, which I'm so used to anywhere in my own home. And it actually inspired me. That was the first time I'd been to the East. And I even changed my surname. I mean, this is absolutely extraordinary in my family to change your surname, but I actually changed my surname and took an Arabic surname, a Middle Eastern surname, which probably I'll call my daughter that name now, I don't know. But anyway, so yes, I suppose it was just the flowers and the wonderful hospitality.
Hey.
And of course the beautiful history.
Obviously,
And the
darling,
culture.
of course, of course. What is the one thing you find most attractive about Pakistan?
How can you say one thing? Because it's such a dichotomy. You've got so many things going on all at once. It's so symbiotic. There's so many different things happening. I think the most important thing for the future of people coming, the tourism, people coming to Pakistan, is the media, most definitely. And I think it's playing a really major role. And, you know, let's get it out there. Let's get it around the world.
You know, I once
Geo
asked-
Pakistan.
Oh, darling. What a lovely thing really to say. But you know, once I asked Charles, your Charles, this question, Prince Charles,
Yes.
and guess what he said? He said, me, of course. So what do you think about Pakistani men?
I think
Bhutika?
they're so handsome, and they've just got beautiful thick hair, and they've got beautiful black eyes, and I just think they're gorgeous.
Does that mean that I can look for a Pakistani man for you?
You can.
I can?
Can I commission you to do this?
Of course, darling, of course.
Okay.
You don't have to commission me. I'm your friend, darling, already. And I'd love for you to come and live in Pakistan for good.
I would
think it'd be
too.
so lovely, really. Boudica, England, Pakistan, fashion designing. You studied fashion designing. What are you up to these days? I mean, what keeps you busy?
Well, I'm an antique dealer now with my own shop in central London, and it keeps me very busy, perhaps a little too busy, because I don't have time for my personal life anymore, because I'm just working so hard with it. But I've always got time to come and see my friends. So, inshallah, I'll get the chance to come and see them more often.
Inshallah. And Jan, you look absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, well, thank you, dear.
Absolutely. And you know, for the information of my viewers, I must inform them, in a sense, that your beautiful looks actually come from the fact, from your grandmother, my favorite, one of the most glorious Hollywood actresses, Gloria Swanson. how does it feel to be the granddaughter of such a beautiful, magnificent person?
Well,
Really?
she was quite a scary person, you know. I'm not a very grand person. I'm a very humble person.
No, I know.
I'm a very down-to-earth person.
You know, but some
and
people,
I like other people like that too.
you know, some people say the same thing about me, which you just said, that they say about your grandmother. Some people tell me that they think I'm very scary.
Le Grand
But-
Dame. Le Grand Dame.
Yeah, the grand dame. So, of all the movies that what kind of relationship did you have with Gloria Swanson?
Well, not really. I mean, you've got to remember she died a long time ago when I was a small girl. She was a very scary figure, really. You know, quite a frightening figure. But there we are. You don't choose your grandparents or your parents, do you? But you do
That's true.
choose your friends.
Of course, Jack, of course. And I'm so glad we met, really. But you know, Gloria, sorry, Deepika, look, just a slip of the tongue. But you know, with your looks, I mean, you are ravishing. And with your confidence and with your
Oh,
personality,
you're so kind.
you would have made an amazing actor yourself. Did you ever think about acting?
Never, never. I mean, my father's a film director. All the rest of the family are on the other side of the camera lens. You know, doing the technical stuff, the very creative stuff, the more creative stuff than the acting.
I know, but see, in this part of the world, in my country, especially in the older days, actresses were looked down upon. It was all right to be working behind the camera. For a lot of women who worked in front of the camera and danced and sang songs and flirted with the heroes, our society being very conservative, it wasn't seen in a very positive sort of a light, although they all loved the actresses. But no decent man would get married to one of those.
I was just going to ask you something about that, because, I mean, whatever people think, I don't really think it matters. But as long as those wonderful actresses from your historical past, they've found decent husbands, and as long as they were happy. But you're telling me now that maybe they didn't all find decent husbands. I
Well,
don't know.
some did, of course. You know, I had to get them married off. They would come running to me, crying half the time, you know, and with a heart like mine, I had to help them out. But no, I wanted to find out from you, in
Yes.
England, and in the early, sort of, or the late, in the mid-40s, 30s, 40s, 50s, although you weren't around
Well,
that
the war's
time.
going on, my dear.
Of course.
The
but
war.
The war. I know, but what was people's perception towards actors and divas? And
Well, it was interesting because so many of the Hollywood actors did actually sign up into the forces and actually were actively in service during the war. And the wartime, my mother tells me, was an incredibly accessible time to meet everybody. You know, some people just can make the best of something. And they used to all meet each other at cafes and things. And, you know, so actors really were very much, entertainment was something that cheered people up during those dark times. And the depression. And
you know,
these
talking
things.
of meeting people and all, I think one of the best meeting places where you can actually interact with so many people is Sheikh Villa.
Oh,
you know.
absolutely.
I go there for my hunting, darling. But you're staying there, really, and you must have met many fascinating men and
Oh,
other people
have.
through our friend
I've
Sheikh
met
Ji.
some lovely people. I've met Faisal Cocello, who's a very close friend of mine now, and Sadaf and Imran Qureshi and Samina Pizada. Really some wonderful, and they've been so good to me. They've been so kind to me, and I've been really treated so well. I've got to come back and see them again, and hopefully they'll all come and see me in London
I'm
because I've
sure.
invited them.
I know, darling. And I must share again with my viewers that we went out crabbing together. Thanks to our friend Sheikh Ji again. He took us out crabbing. So you've done a variety of things since you've come to Pakistan.
have.
You've been to dinners, you've attended dinner balls, and you've been to different sort of people's homes. You've been out crabbing, I'm sure been out shopping, you've been to the Zena market, you've been to the Park Towers. What is it that you enjoy doing here most?
Well, I have to say this is probably one of the highlights of my trip. Just being here with you today in your beautiful boudoir, your beautiful sitting room.
Oh, darling, darling.
I think this has been the highlight of my trip, really.
Really, thank
Yeah.
you so much, really. And no, having you over is just so wonderful.
You're very
You know,
kind.
I called up Manmohan Singh, you know, the Indian Prime Minister, the other day, and I told him, I said, darling, take all our Khans, just give us one. You know, Shah Rukh, I'm very, very fond of him. And then I called up Georgie also, and I said, Georgie, why don't you take away all our generals and just give us 3, General Motors, General Dynamics, and General Electric. So which one of our Khans is your favorite?
I don't know how to answer that question. Can I go for General Motors? Seeing as that's the car I drive.
No, but you know, some of our Khans have been very famous in your part of the world, and I'm referring to people like Imran Khan.
Yes,
and
yes. I don't know him personally, so I don't know him, so I
So
can't.
you were never a cricket fan?
No, I'm afraid not. No.
You're into better things in life then, huh?
Well, differently shaped balls, I guess.
And what do you think about our general, Parvez Bhai?
Oh.
I'd like to know
Very,
your view on
very,
that.
a very, very fabulous man, of course.
What is it that you look for a man for in a man?
Well, you know what? I don't think I found all the elements that I look for in a man in one person. It's very difficult to find a manifestation of all your desires and all your needs in one person. But inshallah, I'll find him.
Would you like to get married at some stage in your life, Shery?
I would, yes. Yes, I think that would probably be quite a good idea. Yeah.
You know, I have invited.
Share my wealth, you know.
Of course, Jan. Of course. By the way, I mean, if somebody I've
am I
met in
gonna
the
leave my
recent
money
past
to?
who's probably wealthier than me is you, darling. I mean, I know I have a palace, but yours is a bit bigger in size. How does it feel living in your beautiful palace? Tell me about your house.
Oh, I love my house. I really do. It's very old. It's 1754, and it was actually built for the Shakespearean actor David Garrick.
Really?
By Robert Adam. And it's a Grade 1 listed building on the River Thames in London. And everyone's welcome to come and stay, because I have fabulous parties there sometimes. That's all I can say about it.
Darling,
really.
I'll be
But
coming.
it's lonely all on my own.
No,
I
sweetie,
need
I'll
all
be
my
coming and
friends
staying with
around
you
me.
soon.
I need all my
you know
friends
what?
around
I think we'll make a deal. I'll help you find. I'll help you find a good Pakistani man, a husband here, and you have to find me a husband there. You know, and we'll keep mine secret because I don't know how
Okay.
Pakistanis will react to me having a Gora husband. But coming back to your wealth and your wanting to share your wealth, you know, there's some very wealthy men in Pakistan also, and some very good-looking men in Pakistan. In fact, I have one visiting me just now. We won't tell him this, but you know, I'd like you to see him, analyze him, and we'll talk later. If you like him, then I can fix a match.
Oh, you're
Don't
so
worry.
This is so nice of you. How kind. I can't wait to see him.
My second guest tonight is a young politician. He is the son of one of my most favorite people, one of my most favorite politicians, and very well dressed, very well spoken. Not a bachelor really, but quite eligible. So I'm not going to make him wait for too long, and I'm going to ask him to enter right now. Please step in, Arif Jatoi. Hello. You know, Arif, so wonderful to see you. Thank you so much for coming.
It was a pleasure to come here, and it was a pleasure for you to invite me.
Hey, thank you so much, Arif. You know, I'm feeling like the luckiest person tonight. I mean, the granddaughter of Gloria Swanson, one of the finest, greatest actors Hollywood has ever seen, and the son of an ex-prime minister. I'm so fond of your father, and I see you, and you remind me so much of him. How's he doing? How's he keeping?
He's very well, thank you very much. And very kind of you to give me such an excellent compliment, although I don't feel I'm any way up to the mark as he is.
नहीं जान, come on. I'm sure you are. अभी तो तुमने शुरू की है सियासत. अभी तो सियासत में बहुत आगे जाना है.
Thank you.
So there's no comparison at all. I wouldn't even dare compare you with your father.
Thank you.
You know, I remember the good old 70s. हाय इतना मजा आता था 70 की उस दिहाई के अंदर. खर साहब, जतोई साहब, दोनों की वो कन्वर्टेबल गाड़ियाँ और बीच में मैं दोनों की आपस में लड़ाइयाँ हो जाया करती थी मेरे पीछे. वो कहता था मेरी कन्वर्टेबल में बैठो, वो कहता था मेरी कन्वर्टेबल में बैठो. Are you fond of cars?
जी हाँ, लेकिन आजकल तो कन्वर्टेबल चलाना मुश्किल होता है.
हाँ, तो कौन सी गाड़ी रखी है तुमने अपने पास आजकल?
छोटे सी है, हम क्या करें.
हाय, नाम बताने में क्या हर्ज है आरिफ?
छोटे सा,
छोटी सी है.
छोटी सी गाड़ी.
चलो कोई बात नहीं, तुम्हारा दिल तो बड़ा है ना.
जी हाँ, इंशाल्लाह.
कभी आंटी नाजी को ले जाओ अपनी गाड़ी में घुमाने के लिए.
चलें.
हाँ, आफ्टर ऑल आई एम योर आंटी डार्लिंग.
गाड़ी छोटा हो लेकिन दिल बड़ा होना चाहिए.
दिल बड़ा होना चाहिए, बिल्कुल सही कह रहे हो. आरिफ, हमारे मुल्क में सियासत किसी तौर आसान काम नहीं है. ठीक है, तुम्हारे पास विरसा है, तुम्हारे बाप दादा का विरसा है. तुम्हें कैसा लगता है सियासत में आकर? चूँकि जहाँ तक मेरी इंफॉर्मेशन जाती है, यू हैड योर सेल्फ स्टक इन स्कैंडल्स लाइक द न्यू सब्जी मंडी स्कैंडल ऑल्सो, और जिस किस्म का कीचड़ उछाला जाता है. हाउ Do you have any regrets? Did you want to initially come into politics, or did your family make you come into it?
नहीं, मेरा ये शौक था क्योंकि ज़ाहिर है हमारा वतन है और हम सबको कुछ ना कुछ अपने वतन के लिए करना चाहिए। आखिर में हमारे इसी मुल्क में रहना है। आपने देखा होगा 9/11 के बाद जो कुछ भी है हमारा मुल्क है, और जितना हम बेहतरी ला सकते हैं अपने मुल्क में तो हमको लाना चाहिए। और सियासत भी मतलब ये नहीं है कि बंदा ज़िंदगी सियासत में गुजारे, सिर्फ अपना जो एक दो जो चीज़ें कर सकते हैं हमारे मुल्क के लिए वो करके वो भी काफ़ी है।
You were the Minister of Food and Agriculture, if I'm not wrong.
जी हाँ।
जान, आजकल ये जो खबरें फैली हुई हैं बर्ड फ्लू की, मुझे तो इतनी डिस्टर्बिंग लगती हैं खबरें, but I'm sure the birds you like are not affected, are they?
They are also the two-legged kind.
Of course, Jan. But are you off chicken?
I'm
क्या खा रहे हो chicken?
chicken खाते हैं।
Chicken खाते हो ना? And what about the chicks, baby?
वो भी
बट एक बात बता दूं, मुझे किसी ने बताया कि चिकन खाने में इतनी डेंजर नहीं है वो, लेकिन चिक्स के बीच में रहने में काफ़ी डेंजर है। हाँ, सो चिक्स से बच के रहना, एहतियात बरतना बहुत ज़रूरी है। यू नो, आई फील सो रूड, आई हैवंट इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इट टू अ few as yet. I'm so sorry, Shery. You know, I just got caught up in my conversation with him because he just reminded me so much of his father, and I will tell you so many stories about his father and myself, darling. But later, later. Huh? That's Boudica Swanson.
Pleasure to meet you.
And that's
nice welcome to Pakistan.
जब देखो मैंने बूटिका को लंदन से बुलवा लिया, मैंने कहा तुमसे मुलाकात करवाऊंगी। तुम भी तो लंदन जाते रहते हो।
इंशाल्लाह।
जाते रहते हो लंदन? जाते हो तो क्या करते हो लंदन में, कहाँ पाए जाते हो?
लंदन में ज़्यादातर लंदन में होते हैं या थोड़े कुछ बाहर जाते हैं। मेरा बड़ा एक ख़ास शौक है यूरोप जाना।
अच्छा।
तो लंदन कैसे तकरीबन सेंट्रल यूरोप ही है, तो हम पेरिस जा सकते हैं, स्पेन भी जा सकते हैं। तो मौका मिलता है तो हम चले जाते हैं, और ट्रेन भी बन के ट्रेन में बैठ के बस
घूमते रहते हैं। कभी किसी गोरी से आंख में टक्का हुआ यूरोप के किसी घूमने के दौरे पर?
बस इसलिए हम ट्रेन में जाते हैं ना।
तो मैंने कहा तुम जिस चीज़ के लिए वहाँ जाते हो उस चीज़ को यहाँ बुलवा लूँ। क्या ख्याल है आरिफ, जो आजकल डिफरेंसेस फैले हुए हैं, तुम अपने मुल्क के लिए कुर्बानी भी देना चाहते हो। यहाँ तो खैर बहुत मेरी हसीन दोस्त आई बैठी है, मैं बातें इसलिए अपनी ज़बान में कर रही हूँ ताकि हम खुल कर एक दूसरे के साथ बात कर सकें। क्योंकि टेल आंटी नाजी एनीथिंग। मेरी दोस्त कैसी लगी तुम्हें?
बहुत अच्छी।
कहो तो बात आगे बढ़ाऊँ?
बढ़ाएं।
अभी जगह है ना, गुंजाइश है ना?
दिल बहुत बड़ा है।
Hi sweetie, again I'm just reminded so much of Jatoi साहब, you know, of उनका दिल भी बहुत बड़ा था, you know। अच्छा आरिफ, एक मज़े की बात जो हमारी मुल्क की हिस्ट्री से बहुत इंस्पायर्ड है। No, but I have to say this so that she can also understand. You know, in our country, it's so strange. The sons or children of prime ministers become prime ministers. Children of generals become generals. Sometimes generals become presidents. I mean, it's all really sort of messed up. But you are a prime minister's son. कभी सोचा, दिल में आया कि तुम्हें भी प्राइम मिनिस्टर होना चाहिए?
दुआ करें हमारे लिए।
जान, मैं
तो किस्मत की बात होती है।
जान, मैं दुआ कम करती हूँ, दवा ज़्यादा करती हूँ।
अच्छा।
अपनी ख्वाहिश का इजहार करो, फिर तरीका तुम्हें बताऊंगी। शॉर्टकट।
बता दें शॉर्टकट।
हाँ, शौकत को भी मैंने ही बताया था शॉर्टकट। You know, he's went through अटक। तुम्हारे लिए नहीं, मैं तुम्हें अटक में नहीं अटकाऊंगी। चलो, I'll tell you a little secret off cam. अच्छा आरिफ, मुझे बताओ, how active are you? कितने एक्टिव हो?
बहुत एक्टिव है।
मैं सियासत की बात कर रही थी। सियासत में कितने एक्टिव हो?
बहुत एक्टिव है।
बहुत एक्टिव हो। जनरल साहब से मुलाकात का कभी?
जी, कभी-कभार होता है।
हमारे मुल्क के जो सियासी सूरत हाल चल रही है और जिस किस्म से हमारे मुल्क का एक इमेज पोर्ट्रे किया जा रहा है दुनिया भर के अंदर, उसके बारे, एंड यू बिकॉज यू गेट टू ट्रैवल अ लॉट एंड यू विजिट यूरोप, fine looking for other things, but you must be interacting with people and getting a first-hand sort of a feedback on the way they perceive our country. कैसा लगता है आरिफ?
देखिए, हमें पिछले 5 साल में बहुत ज़्यादा इम्प्रूवमेंट हुआ है। अब देखेंगे, पिछले 5 साल मायूसी थी, ये बहुत लोग परेशान थे, लेकिन आजकल पिछले 5 साल में इतना इम्प्रूवमेंट हुई है हमारे मुल्क में। It's unbelievable, literally. And I think it's an amazing thing that people have hope now. और मेरा उम्मीद है कि जहां हम आज हैं, पिछले अगले 5 साल में भी हम सोच नहीं सकते हम कहाँ तक पहुंच सकते हैं।
पर जान, मुझे एक बात समझ नहीं आती कि एक जब मिलिट्री हुकूमत आती है तो उनको तो इतने सारे सालों की ज़रूरत होती है टू सेट थिंग्स ऑन द राइट पाथ, लेकिन जब हमारे यहाँ डेमोक्रेसी होती है तो 18 महीने पिंकी की गवर्नमेंट आती है, 18 महीने में सैक कर दी जाती है, 2 साल नवाज जान की हुकूमत आती है, ही सच अ डार्लिंग दो नवाज, यू नो ही इज़ नाउ इन लंदन, यू मस्ट गो एंड मीट हिम, नवाज शरीफ, तो उसको भी सैक कर दिया जाता है, फिर पिंकी की हुकूमत आती है 2 साल में, तो उनको तो उनका एजेंडा फॉलो करने का वक्त नहीं दिया जाता. डू यू थिंक दैट इट्स फेयर टू गेज देम और देयर परफॉर्मेंस एज प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स और एज गवर्नर्स बेस्ड ऑन दोज शॉर्ट टेन्योर्स?
देखिए ना, अगर वो इतना अच्छा काम कर रहे होते तो उनकी हुकूमत 20 महीने या 18 महीने या 24 महीने नहीं चलते ना. उनका भी वो, लेकिन वो भी अपने पूरे 5 साल पूरे करते.
But your father was very close at one time to ZAB, और उनका भी इन्हीं के साथ काफ़ी अरसे तक ताल्लुक़ रहा.
ZAB का हुकूमत उन्होंने 5 साल पूरे किए थे.
ज़ियाउल हक ने,
ज़ुल्फ़िकार
ZAB
भुट्टो
ने, ऑफ कोर्स जान, बट ही उसमें तो अभी हम नहीं पढ़ते, उसमें नहीं पढ़ते. मेरा दिल बहुत दुखता है और मैं अपनी पर्सनल चीज़ें नहीं शेयर करना.
वो ज़माना कुछ और था.
वो ज़माना कुछ और था, वो वाकई और ज़माना था. अभी तुमने होप की बात की, लेकिन जान, मैं तो जब निकलती हूँ अपने ड्राइंग रूम से, बाहर सड़कों में जाती हूँ, आम आवाम से इंटरेक्ट करती हूँ, तो मुझे लोगों में बहुत मायूसी नज़र आती है. यू नो, विद ऑल दीज बॉम्ब ब्लास्ट हैपनिंग, विद ऑल द प्राइसेस ऑफ नॉर्मल डे कमोडिटीज़ गोइंग अप, क्या हुकूमत को आम आदमी की ज़िंदगी की कितनी फ़िक्र है?
जी, ये फैक्ट है, महंगाई है, इसमें कोई शक नहीं है. महंगाई इतना होना नहीं चाहिए, लेकिन मैं समझता हूँ उस पर अगर हम थोड़ा सा तवज्जो देंगे तो हम उसको भी हम कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं. लेकिन जैसे आप कह रहे थे ना, टाइम लगता है ना, ये पहले मैक्रो लेवल पे काम होता है, फिर माइक्रो लेवल तक पहुँचते हैं. तो इंशाल्लाह अभी ये पिछले 5 साल में माइक्रो लेवल का काम हो गया और हम आहिस्ता आहिस्ता भी माइक्रो लेवल तक पहुँच रहे हैं.
Were you there in London when the blasts took place? The 4 horrible bomb blasts?
Yeah, I was there, and friends of mine were on their way to work actually, sort of on that sort of line of the transport link. Yeah.
You know, one blast in New York and 4 blasts in London can have governments, not just your own, but governments around the world on their toes. And here in our country, we have blasts happening every second week.
I almost wonder if they're just to divert our attention from something else that may be happening.
Absolutely. But I'd like to know from Arif Jatoi that अभी बहुत शाबाशी मिलती है आपके और हमारे परवेज़ भाई को for being such a staunch ally on the war on terror. Is this our war, Arif?
It is a war because, as President Musharraf says, we are on the front lines. Most of the people who are engaged in this are along our borders, on most of our borders. So therefore, naturally, we have to take the front role.
But you know, Shery, another Shery was visiting here. That's Shery Blair. And both the Sherrys were visiting at the same time. She was so wanted to come. I got so many phone calls from her saying, Begum Sahib, I've got to come and meet you. I said, no, Jani, I've got a better Shery coming and seeing me tonight. But living in London, again, I'd like to know, Tony Blair has come under much criticism.
Yes.
For being such a yes man, really, to George W. Bush. How, and do you support him?
No,
How
I don't.
do the
No, I don't.
And why not, really?
Because I don't think he's honest. But trouble is, I suppose, why do we expect honesty? But I think it's what we deserve. And I think people should go on expecting it. And I think they should eventually get it. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Really, but you know, it's so interesting that you come to Pakistan, and as you yourself said just now, that you know it's a totally different perception that you have of Pakistan when you actually come and visit Pakistan. And I always say this, that I'm so proud of the fact that I'm a Pakistani, because I think there's no nation in the world that is so open-hearted, so welcoming, so actually tolerant, really, so loving, really, you know. How would you suggest, how can we bridge the gap between the West and Islam?
Well, I certainly don't think there's any gap to be bridged between Britain and Pakistan, after all. I mean, the links go back so very long, and we have so much Pakistani influence at home that really, it really is one and the same thing in a lot of ways. I wish I had more time to think about the answer for this. I don't know that there is a bridge to be gapped. I think it's just two different views of the same sort of thing, isn't it?
See you after such a long time. You know, when I last saw him, he was this little, like little baby.
Sweet.
He hasn't changed much. He still looks as cute,
Thank you,
really,
very kind of you.
like a little boy. What kind of relationship do you have with your dad?
A very close relationship.
Okay.
Very close. He's my father. He's my mentor. Yeah, I look up to him. He's taught me everything I know.
I'm having such a wonderful time. Hey, Arif, तुमसे गिले करोगे कि बेगम साहब, hi, you would never call me बेगम साहब, you should call me आंटी नाज़ी, कि आंटी नाज़ी अपने घर में बुलाकर आपने मेरे से इतनी संजीदा सवाल करने शुरू कर दिए. अच्छे बताओ, फिल्में देखने का शौक है?
है.
किस किस्म की फिल्में देखते हो?
ज़्यादातर हिस्टोरिकल ड्रामाज.
हिस्टोरिकल ड्रामाज?
जी हाँ.
हाय जान, तुम्हारी कोई उम्र तो नहीं हिस्टोरिकल ड्रामाज देखने की?
क्या करें, लेकिन सियासत में हमको अपना होराइजन्स एक्सपैंड करने पड़ते हैं ना.
है, वैसे एक मज़े की बात बताऊं, अगर तुम मुझे काफ़ी सारा मक्खन लगा दो ना, काफ़ी सारा, तो मैं तुम्हारे लिए बात पक्की करवा सकती हूँ. मेरी बहुत सुनती है, मेरी बहुत मानती है, ना नहीं करेगी.
तो हमारे लिए कुछ कर लें.
तो करो ना, मुझे कुछ इंसेंटिव तो ऑफर करो ना. गुलाम मुस्तफ़ा जतोई के बेटे हो आखिर, कुछ बात करो, बड़ी बात करो. हाँ, मुरब्बों की बात करो.
अच्छा, चलो कर.
वो हम करते हैं अभी बाद में. Okay, Shery, let's suppose that if I were to teach you perfect Urdu, and if I were to get Pakistan's #1 director and producer to make you an offer to star in his film, would you be interested in doing a Pakistani film?
Well, where would that film be filmed?
Where
what
will
would the
that?
location be?
Oh, darling, we can do a bit of it in London, a bit of it in Switzerland, but mostly in Pakistan because, you know, it's after all going to be a Pakistani film. But would you be interested in acting in a film?
I'm not an actress, Nazi.
Come
I'm
on,
not
Jad.
an
You know, I
actress.
always thought that too about myself. I used to always tell these directors, you know, hounding me and harassing me to act in their films. I used to tell them, I'm not an actress. I'm not an actress. But then came Sayyid Noor, you know, and he convinced me to act in, he's a famous director here, by the way, to act in one of his films. And then I was still so unsure. But then he gave me a chance to perform, really. A little rehearsal thingy. And I performed so well that I dazzled myself even. So you never know, darling. I mean, maybe I could pair the two of you up and see how well you fare. You might never know.
Definitely, I think we'll make a good hero and heroine.
शेरी के साथ perform कर लोगे ना? ठीक से.
बिल्कुल ठीक.
इज्जत रख लोगे ना हमारे मुल्क की?
Of course.
हाँ, well if he
He
gives
looks like Clark Gable.
देखा रे जतोई? हाँ, मेरे साथ दोस्ती रखने का कितना फायदा होता है?
बिल्कुल, बहुत फायदा है.
हाँ, ये मेरी वजह से बोल रही है. वो फिर मुरब्बों की बात हमने बाद में करनी है. अच्छा?
कर रहे हैं.
भूलना नहीं. नहीं, he's a lovely person really. आरिफ, सीरियसली अगर तुम्हें ऑफर की जाए फिल्म में एक्ट करने की, तो करोगे कि नहीं? या सारी जिंदगी सियासत
कर लेंगे. वैसे हम अभी बेरोजगार हैं, तो और अपॉर्चुनिटीज तो ढूंढ रहे हैं ना अभी.
अच्छा, who is your favorite Pakistani actress and model?
My famous model would be, I'll have to say Winnie.
विनी?
Yes.
मुलाकात हुई कभी विनी से?
कभी कभार फैशन शोज में देखते हैं.
सिर्फ फैशन शोज में देखते हैं? अच्छा, नहीं, विनी इज वेरी स्वीट.
Very sweet, yes.
हाँ, मैं बुला के फिर पूछूंगी तुम्हारे बारे में विनी से. एंड एक्ट्रेस कौन पसंद है?
एक्ट्रेस
मेरा नाम ना ले लेना कहीं.
नहीं, आपका नाम लेना है, लेकिन
तुम्हें तो पता है मैं एक्टिंग बिल्कुल नहीं करती. मैं बहुत नेचुरल हूँ.
नहीं, एक्टिंग तो नेचुरल होती है ना.
हाँ, ऑफ कोर्स. हाँ, तो एक्ट्रेस कौन पसंद है तुम्हें?
एक्ट्रेस का मैंने पसंद होगा ये एक्चुअली पाकिस्तानी मूवीज हम बहुत कम देखते हैं.
इंडियन बता दो.
इंडियन तो फिर ऐश्वर्या.
ऐश्वर्या, हाय, वैसे मैं कहती हूँ, मैं हमेशा कहती हूँ कि ऐश्वर्या और शाहरुख ने हिंदुस्तान के लिए वो कर दिखाया जो हमारे मुल्क में हमारे कोई भी वो नहीं कर पाया. यू नो, मैं कहती हूँ कि उनको तो कभी कोई मिसाइल इस्तेमाल करने की ज़रूरत ही नहीं पड़ी. एक ऐश्वर्या राय लॉन्च की, एक शाहरुख खान लॉन्च किया, और दुनिया भर में उन्होंने अपनी जंग फतह कर ली, अपनी डिप्लोमेसी की फतह कर ली. You've been to India, haven't you?
I have, yes.
And just once, or have you been there more? On more
It was
occasions?
just once, in
Just
fact,
once.
yeah.
And where did you visit in India?
I went all around Rajasthan. I took my mother.
To
my
Rajasthan?
mummy, yeah.
Oh, Rajasthan
And
is
she
so
loved
beautiful.
it.
I'm sure she did. I'm
Yes.
sure she did. But comparing India
Yes.
and Pakistan,
Yes.
I'd like you to draw a comparison, an honest comparison.
Well, I prefer Pakistan, of
Okay.
course.
Hi.
I don't know, you don't see the poverty here that you see in India. You certainly don't see the... I don't know, it's just different. I can't explain it. I can't explain
I know,
it.
Jani, but that's the beauty of this country. Now, that's the beauty of this country. I mean, so much happens. You just don't see it. You know, it just happens undercover. What do you have to say about that, Arif?
बिल्कुल सही है, but लेकिन मैं ये भी कहना चाहता हूँ कि you don't appreciate your country until you've seen others.
You with the PMLQ, if I'm not wrong.
जी हाँ.
You are with the PMLQ, and you are a member parliament on
Yeah.
their ticket.
Yeah.
मुझे PMLQ की सुनाओ कि अंदर क्या गठजोड़ चल रही है. 2007 की इलेक्शन स्ट्रैटेजी बन गई हुई है.
चलो 2008 में करेंगे.
इलेक्शन 2008 में करेंगे.
चलो.
Is that a statement?
नहीं. उम्मीद है.
Is that a commitment?
उम्मीद है.
Can I hold you on this one? Can I quote you on this one?
हम उम्मीद से दुनिया कायम है ना.
तो 2000 अच्छा चलो फिर तो अच्छी बात है 2008 में कर लो इलेक्शन. तो मुझे बताओ
जल्दी तो नहीं है ना.
हाँ तो चौधरी शुजात हुसैन की लीडरशिप पे आप तमाम लोग मुत्तफिक हैं.
जी हाँ.
उनकी बात कैसे समझ लेते हो? वो तो एक दो दफ़ा उसने मुझे फ़ोन किया तो आई कुडंट मेक एनी सेंस ऑफ व्हाटएवर ही वाज ऑन अबाउट. मुझे लगा था अपने आप से ही बात कर रहा है शायद. तुम समझ लेते हो आराम से उनकी ज़बान?
ऐसे समझ लेते हैं. लेकिन कभी कभार बेहतर है कि नहीं समझे.
Come on, Arif, and I'm not going to make you speak too much. कहीं ये ना हो कि तुम्हारी पार्टी मेंबरशिप कैंसिल हो जाए. मेरे ड्राइंग रूम में आने की वजह से.
बहुत अच्छे हैं, बहुत अच्छे हैं.
अच्छा. हाय स्वीट. चलो अच्छा किया. लेकिन वो जो मक्खन उनको लगा रहे हो ना वो बचा के रखना, वो यहाँ पर काम आएगा. मंजिल सामने बैठी है. हाँ. So Boudica, tell me, what are your plans? What are your plans for the future? Do you see yourself getting married and settling down in Pakistan?
How can you say what's going to happen? You know, I really... If you make too many plans, then you're going to open yourself up to being disappointed, aren't you? And nobody wants to be disappointed. So I'm just going to keep a completely open mind and stick with my wonderful friends who have been so kind to me. And they're more valuable to me anyway than anything else. So that's going to be my answer to your question, Nazi.
Okay. Are you into... I'm sure you're fond of music.
Oh, yeah.
What kind of music do you listen to?
Well, I like to listen to a lot of R&B and soul and jazz funk and rare groove and a lot of this kind of music. But I also like a lot of jazz. Anything with a jazz tradition.
Okay.
Blues, jazz, soul, rap. Obviously, all these things have come from the core of jazz.
But coming to Pakistani music, our musicians, people like Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan and Abda Parveen, you know, have been Qawwali. I don't know, have you ever had the chance to hear
Well,
any of Nusrat Fateh Ali Khan's music?
Oh, I have.
Because I know Sheikh G is very fond of
Well, I
Nusrat
have been
Fateh Ali
listening
Khan.
to Allahu and all these kind of things, and it's Arma that's been playing them to me in his home. And it's just so expressive and so wonderful. And Arma's been wonderfully and painstakingly translating it for me and trying to translate it into the way that I would understand the meaning, which is so difficult.
I know, you have
But
to know
he's
a
been
certain
really
language.
patient, and it's just marvellous. So you see, yeah, I'm having a wonderful time here.
आपको भी मौसीकी पसंद है?
कभी कभार.
कभी कभार टेप पे सुनना पसंद करते हैं या सामने बिठा के सुनना पसंद करते हैं?
कभी कभार.
महफिलें तो सजती होंगी आरिफ, और कभी ये नहीं हुआ कि झूठी मुआटी नाजी को इनवाइट कर लिया होता? किसको सुनना पसंद करते हो?
बस.
You can take names. Jan, you're sitting in my drawing room.
कभी कभार जो भी मूड के हिसाब से चलता है.
You know, we are all so happy, and I hope my viewers can share my happiness and this excitement of us sitting together. Arif, how do you get on with? आपकी मुलाकात हुई कभी पिंकी से, बेनज़ीर भुट्टो से?
यहाँ कभी कभार होती है.
होती है, लंदन में मुलाकात होती है.
लंदन में नहीं हुई, लेकिन जब
उन पे बड़े इल्ज़ाम लगे आसिफ पे भी और मेरी इतनी स्वीट पिंकी के ऊपर, बेचारी के ऊपर, कि उन्होंने हमारे मुल्क के एंटीक्स चुरा लिए, आर्टिफैक्ट्स चुरा लिए. बहुत और भी इल्ज़ाम लगे. You know them personally. Do you think that those allegations were true?
उसके बारे में इतना ज़्यादा मुझे नहीं पता, तो मैं कहना मुनासिब नहीं होगा.
कि माजरत कर ली तुमने मुझसे?
नहीं.
तुम डिप्लोमेटिक हो रहे हो मेरे साथ?
नहीं.
तुम बोलते कुछ नहीं हो?
नहीं,
तुम
लेकिन
हर चीज़ पे तुम माजरत कर
कोई चीज़ हम
जानी, डोंट बी सो
नहीं जानते नहीं है तो हम कैसे बोल सकते हैं?
हाय, नहीं, आई अंडरस्टैंड. चलो, Boudica, you've been to Lahore.
Yes, I have.
And you've been to Karachi. Are these the only two places you visited in Pakistan?
I'm afraid they are. I want to go to Quetta, but I love Lahore, but I haven't been there for quite a long time. And my host, Sheikh Arma, has said that he will take me there, which would be wonderful because he's doing a lot of charity. He's got a charitable trust there, the Sheikh Village, which, I mean, I've sort of heard all about it right from the beginning, and it just sounds exciting.
I have
Have
visited.
you been?
Of course I have.
I want to go.
Of course. Sheikh Ji doesn't do a thing without my approval. So I went there, and
Yeah.
in fact, we could plan a trip together.
I'd love to come.
To Sheikh Village. In fact, he could come come with us. तुम अगर चाहो तो आ सकते हो साथ हमारे साथ शेख विलेज तुम्हें दिखाएंगे. वहाँ पे शेरी भी होगी, मैं भी होंगी, तुम आ जाना साथ. ठीक है बेटा. बट मुझे तो फिर वो 70s के दिन याद आ गए और किस तरह हम सब जाया करते थे. जतोई साहब थे, खर साहब थे, मैं होती थी और बड़े लोग होते थे और हम जाया करते थे अपने शिकार की ट्रिप्स के ऊपर. एंड हंटिंग ट्रिप्स वर सो मच फन.
उस ज़माने में आप हमको भी ले जाते या आपको घर छोड़ के चले जाते?
आप बहुत छोटे थे बेटा, आपको साथ ले जाकर मैंने अपने सर पे आफत पाल ली थी. मैं बच्चे पाल लेते मुझे जाके वहाँ पर. तुम दूध पीछे शीर ख्वार बच्चे.
अब गोद पे रख आप ले जाते?
अब बड़े हो गए हो. अब हाँ, इसलिए तो मेरे सामने बैठे हो. अब हम बात कर सकते हैं 1-to-1. You, it seems, are a very passionate person and you love people. You're fond of traveling, you're fond of collecting artifacts. How would you best describe your own self as a person?
Well, I'm very complex. I'm very complex. I think there's many different aspects and many different tastes that don't necessarily, to the naked eye, make a lot of sense. But nevertheless, if I like something, or I like, especially objects, art, artifacts, music, if I like it, there must be something about it all that makes some kind of sense. And it is very, very varied. I have very varied tastes in everything. So therefore, I suppose I must be a person with a lot of variety in me. There's a lot of variety going on
But
there.
a person like you, and so beautiful, and so intelligent really, and so passionate, and just so wonderful really. You must have had a lot of people falling in love with you. Did you ever fall in love?
Oh yes, of course.
Have you had your heart broken?
Oh, I have, yes.
Oh, sweet
yes,
baby.
Of course.
Hi.
Well, you can't make an omelette without breaking the egg, right?
देखो बेचारी का दिल टूटा हुआ है. तुम्हें दिल जोड़ने आते हैं कि नहीं?
लेकिन हमारा वही पोजीशन है, हमारा भी दिल टूटा हुआ है.
तुम्हारा भी दिल टूटा हुआ
जी
है?
हाँ.
तुम्हारा दिल किसने तोड़ दिया?
बस क्या कहें.
हाय, मेरे बेटे का दिल तोड़ दिया. कौन है वो उल्लू की पट्टी? मुझे बताओ. जाके कान से पकड़ के उसको डांट.
अभी हम नाम तो नहीं ले सकते, लेकिन
नाम नहीं ले सकते. हाय, I know. I just got so carried away and so angry and upset. I would hate to have anybody hurt my favorite nephew. Really, favorite इसलिए अभी तुम मुलाकात कम करते हो, लेकिन तुम मेरे favorite nephew बन सकते हो. हाँ, तरीका मैंने तुम्हें बता दिया पहले. हाँ. Boudica, anything that you'd like to say to my viewers?
Oh, I think I just have to say thank you very much for making me so welcome in your country. And I'm totally addicted and I can't wait to come back. Hopefully in a couple of months I'll be back. And I'll be able to go to Sheikh Village with my wonderful host.
Exactly.
And you must come too.
We will go together.
I'd love you to come as well. And why didn't
what
you
about
come
me?
too?
Oh,
Of course.
Thank you.
Please
I thought you were
come.
leaving me
Please
behind.
come.
So you drive a Cadillac in London?
Yes, I've always driven a Cadillac. Always the same
Wow.
make of car.
Aye.
The different ones, of course. The old ones, I used to have the old convertibles, big 8.2 litre front wheel drive jobs. But now I've got the new STS, which is, it's okay for me. It gets me from A to B.
Hi, beta, but it was so wonderful having you.
अपने वायदे तो क्या है ना अभी?
It was so wonderful having you. मुझे यकीन है कि आज मेरे ड्राइंग रूम में बूडिका स्वानसन को देखकर, आरिफ जतोई को देखकर आप लोगों को बहुत खुशी हुई होगी. और आप लोगों ने ये भी जाना होगा कि रंग, नस्ल, नाम, एथनिक या किसी मुल्क की ओरिजिन होने से कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता. लोगों के दिल साफ़ हों तो हमारा जो एक रिश्ता है वो इंसानियत का रिश्ता है. वी आर ऑल ह्यूमन बीइंग्स एंड वी आर ऑल कनेक्टेड थ्रू दैट बॉन्ड ऑफ ह्यूमैनिटी रियली. तो अपने दिलों से नफ़रतें मिटाने की बहुत ज़रूरत है हम सबको. एट एवरी लेवल. आई वाज जस्ट टेलिंग माय व्यूअर्स दैट वी नीड टू गेट रिड ऑफ any and all negativity, any biases, any prejudices, any hatreds really. And we have to actually develop love for each other. The way you love my country and the way I love you.
I think it's just
and
ignorance
it's
from
just so
people.
wonderful really. Boudica, you have to come back. You have to find a man here.
Okay.
And you have to promise me that you'll live in Pakistan.
You'll have to come to the wedding.
I will, of course, darling. The
invite
wedding will
you.
happen in my garden.
Okay,
Of course, darling.
okay.
हाँ, तुम्हारा इसकी
You already have a maid of honor.
इसकी डोली यहाँ से जाएगी, बारात यहाँ आएगी. हाँ. आप लोग अपना ख्याल रखिएगा, दिलों में मोहब्बतों को पनपने दीजिएगा और इंशाल्लाह अगले हफ्ते मैं आपके सामने फिर हाजिर होंगी with two very exciting personalities. Until then, take care. Allah Hafiz and Nawazish.